All right, welcome. This is the first of many virtual job fairs that we've been having. And I want to introduce myself. I'm John Guthrie, Vice President of Communications here at Halifax Health. This is Genevieve Penn. She is a recruiter at Halifax Health, specializing in allied health and the CNAs, Certified Nursing Assistants, and Lacey Smith,
Yes.
who is a registered nurse and a recruiter as well. And I want to just give you a little taste of Halifax Health for those of you who have tuned in. We are a community-owned hospital. We've been here since 1928. Can you believe that? 1928. 90 plus years. 90 plus years. And we're a safety net hospital, which means we take care of everybody.
Right.
And that was no more evident than these last 10 days of Bike Week. Did you see the press release? How many people we took care of?
A ton.
150 traumas. And trauma is something that really sets us apart because we're the only trauma center in Volusia and Flagler. And Lacey, what does it mean to a nurse or to allied health people, Genevieve, to be a part of a trauma system? What does that mean?
I think that means that we're going to take care of any patient that rolls through our door. No matter what type of condition or what you're showing up with, we're going to take care of you. And so I think that that's really a proud thing to be able to say as an RN that, no matter your condition, your ability to pay, we're going to take care of you.
That's true. And when you think about the golden hour of trauma, it's much better to have trauma services here in Daytona Beach than to be sitting on the road waiting to go to Jacksonville or Orlando.
To be lifted somewhere, yep.
If you have any questions, feel free. We have Charles Freeman available to answer questions or ask us. And really what we want to talk about today is career opportunities at Halifax Health.
Yes.
And one thing I think that's really important is to kind of talk about the culture, because there are hospitals all over the place. But all hospitals aren't the same. I know one thing is we have a trauma center, which means we have all these specialties here 24/7. So what does that mean from a career standpoint to be able to have all these different practices here?
So that means that no matter what type of specialty you're looking, to get yourself involved in, we've got it here. So we have a lot of different opportunities for our patients, but also for the caregivers that are looking to care for those patients.
That's right. And lately, we've been working more and more closely with UF
Yes.
Health, an academic powerhouse. And we have neurosciences.
Yes.
We have heart and vascular with UF. We now have urology with UF. And we have kidney and liver transplant with UF. So and I think that's it so far.
Yes, that's it.
That's it so far. But working with those physicians, they are expert. For instance, Dr. Sohit Khanna in our heart program operates on the beating heart.
Yeah, he's amazing. What an opportunity for a nurse to be able to work alongside someone like that and to take care of those patients. That's a wonderful opportunity to be exposed to.
They are, our cardiac program, as a matter of fact, is one of the top 50 in the country.
Yeah.
And so if you're interested in getting involved with the UF Health program and the heart program, it's a great way to get your foot in the door is starting with nursing here.
Yeah.
And, there are many different kinds of nurses, as you all know. Lacey came from the mother-baby side, but there's med-surg, there is ISC, more acronyms than you can imagine. So if you're interested in it, this is a great place to come.
Yes.
So when we talk about culture at Halifax Health, we have a very purposeful culture. It's called Cornerstone. And it's exceptional service, every encounter, every day, to everyone.
That's right.
What does that mean to a nurse when that is the purposeful culture of your organization?
I think that means that you're going, no one wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to do a bad job today. No one wakes up that way. But do you wake up every day and say, I'm going to be the best nurse that this patient has ever had? I don't know if everyone wakes up that way, but I know that the nurses here at Halifax Health, that's the way we wake up. We wake up and this is going to be the best nurse that I can be for that patient today.
And that's our commitment.
That's it.
That's our commitment to you, because we are so lucky to be on the caregiving side than the care receiving side.
Absolutely.
And from an allied health and from dietary and EVS, I'm sure you have numerous stories, Genevieve, where those people, because of our culture, have changed someone's day for them.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's huge because when you come to a hospital, you're coming here usually unexpected. not for anything good. So you're really wanting to make an impact on that patient and providing them the best care and service and changing their whole day around because they're going to remember you.
Absolutely.
And we have to do that. We're doing that for our patients, but we do that for one another as well. As team members. You have to wake up, and sometimes you've got to pull the weight of someone else who's not having a good day, and so you've got to be their backbone. And so we do that for each other. Yeah.
And that's, I think, when I think about the culture at Halifax Health, I think that it is very familial or family-like.
Yes.
When I talk to nurses and other folks in healthcare here, they talk about it's a friendly place. Everyone smiles. When I have visitors come here, they say, you have the friendliest hospital because everyone smiles. Everyone says hello. And when I say everyone, we're darn close. Now, the fact that people are wearing masks at the hospital, I don't know if everybody's smiling, but you can tell in their eyes.
Yeah, you can.
So we're very fortunate. And we have a leadership team, which starts with Jeff Fiesel, our president and CEO. And his why, to quote Simon Sinek, is he likes to get up every day and come to work with amazing people, saving lives, and he's a business guy. And so that's his approach. And it's a healthy approach. And then we have Alberto Teneo, who is our chief operating officer, and he is as solid as you can get. We vaccinated almost 6,000 people now during COVID.
And counting.
Yeah. And he, the chief operating officer, was downstairs greeting people, making sure it was going well. That effort got our Google rating up to a 3.4. Because he got that engaged. And our chief nursing officer, I want to say a little bit about her. Mary Jo Allen started as our chief nursing officer probably a year ago. A year ago. She had been in hospice. She had worked at Publix. She has a very busy life with kids and sports and music. But she is totally ingrained in getting out there on the floors. As a matter of fact, if there's a nurse out there who wants to go to lunch with Mary Jo, you can call her up and she will take you to lunch.
Yeah, she will.
She's that down to earth about it, and she has that much passion for Halifax Health.
Yeah.
So that's crucial. And then when we look at our financial status, Eric Pepper, our chief financial officer, is brilliant. And, in the past, we've had at least 280 days of cash on hand. He makes moves and suggestions to keep our bond ratings up. We are solid. And we're able to do the things we do because we have great leadership. Yeah. We really do. And we're growing. Yeah. Bill Griffin works with us. We're opening 4 new urgent cares. Ormond, Port Orange, Deltona, and Daytona Beach Shores on the beach side.
I'm so excited.
Let's talk about the beach for a second. Lacey, why do you live 2 blocks from the beach and come to work at Halifax Health?
So we live 2 blocks from the beach because we like to surf all the time. So obviously working at Halifax, it's only like a 12-minute drive from my house, so it's very convenient. But we just love the lifestyle here. We wouldn't want to live or work anywhere else.
And it's fantastic. And that's one thing I really want to stress for anybody who's tuned in who doesn't get to live by the beach. I'm sorry, because it is a fantastic place to be.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place to be. So not only is it a great medical center, with a residency program, with a level 3 NICU. I mean, I can go on, but we're in a beautiful part of Florida.
Right.
I mean, gorgeous. Genevieve lives in New Smyrna Beach. Yeah. Best restaurants around. So, I mean, it's a lifestyle, right?
You get to, literally, me and my husband, we walk on the beach before I come into work. I mean, that's so cool. You don't get to do that.
No, you don't. In a lot of places, in some places, it's snowing today.
Yeah.
So let's keep that in mind. We have a great medical center. We have great people. We're in a great location. I mean, you really can't beat it.
No.
And guess what? When we give our annual gifts to our team members, we give beach chairs, beach umbrellas. It is all about the beach.
We all love our beach chairs.
Yeah.
They're the best beach chairs ever.
And we see them all over the place. And there's pride around that. There really is.
Yeah, it's kind of cool when you see one on the beach and you're like, oh, I wonder who that is, or where do they work? And you're like, oh, yeah, I know so-and-so. It's kind of cool.
So tell me, right now, the nation is apparently in a nursing shortage. We've had a lot of nurses go to travel. We have, luckily here, we have Daytona State College to help people advance their careers.
Yes.
Bethune-Cookman, Kaiser,
UCF.
UCF, and Stetson, depending on what your career is. All within 30 minutes.
Right.
So tell me what's going on now in nurse recruiting, and how exciting it is to be able to offer some really great incentives.
Yeah, so right now is a really exciting time to be a nurse recruiter. We are currently offering $10,000 sign-on bonuses, not just for experienced nurses. So sometimes we see that often, right? $10,000 or $5,000 for an experienced nurse, but we're offering that to even new graduate nurses.
$10,000.
And it does come with no additional strings attached beyond our residency contract, which is a 2-year contract with the organization. There are no other strings attached. That $10,000 does get applied to your very first paycheck. A lot of other organizations, they will lump out their $10,000 to ensure that you stay with their organization, but as a good faith effort, we're going to put that on your first paycheck.
And to put things in perspective, since October, we've hired 160 nurses, I believe.
Yep.
And we're on a goal to hire 120 more, which I want to get to something about that, and that is ratios. Our plan, I'm going to have Lindsay address this, but I just want you to hear this. Our plan is to have 5-to-1 ratios.
Correct.
And that has been a challenge for us in the past.
Yes.
But we are committed to doing that. Can you talk about that?
So we have complete transparency when it comes to our nurse ratios. And to be honest, in the past for our adult health units, we were 6, and sometimes we had to flex up to 7-to-1 ratios. And that was never the intention. That is not what Halifax Health stands for. We do not want that to continue. So we really worked hard to figure that out, and our current ratios are 5-to-1 on adult health units. So that's your units like, when I say adult health, neuroscience, cardiac telemetry, orthopedics, oncology, post-surgical, those types of units are 5-to-1.
And we're a 3-hospital system now.
Yes.
We have Halifax Health Medical Center, which is in Daytona Beach, 5 miles from the beach. And we have, maybe even less, and we have Port Orange Medical Center, which is maybe 5 miles from the beach.
Yep.
And we have Halifax Health, UF Health, Medical Center of Deltona, our brand new hospital, which is gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous
It's
on the west
amazing.
side. And that's in Deltona. So there are different places and different settings in addition to all the practices we've talked about.
Right.
So there's a lot of
So many
opportunity.
opportunities. Absolutely.
Let's talk about CNAs and CNA support of nurses at our facility.
So with CNAs, we have positions everywhere within the hospital at this moment, and positions outside of the main campus, Port Orange and Deltona as well. And for CNAs that are coming in from, say, Daytona State, we also have a centralized staffing office where they can really get exposure to the entire hospital to see which departments they really enjoy. And we offer a nurse loan forgiveness program to those CNAs. So to continue their education, to grow and develop them with the organization to become an RN.
Yeah.
And I want to stop there for a second because I want to tell you a story about a person named Sharon James who is very dear to my heart. Sharon James grew up in Daytona Beach. She will not tell me her age. She looks like she's my
She
age.
looks like she's 20
but
something.
she's older than me. But and I don't think she'd be too mad if I said that. She started at Halifax Health in dietary.
Yep.
And through Halifax Health and career advancement opportunities, she is now a diabetes educator, RN.
Yeah.
and
For the entire organization.
and she's been here 30 plus years. Listen to that, 30 plus years, and she still has that great smile. Let's talk about that career ladder and educational opportunities that Halifax Health makes available to you.
Yeah. So I can speak to this from even a personal level. After 6 months of employment at Halifax Health will pay for you to go back to school. Let's say for myself, I was an RN, I was without my BSN, and Halifax Health completely paid for me to do that. And there's a lot of different programs. If you're a CNA and you're looking for that next step and you want to go to school to be an LPN or an RN, Halifax Health will cover that and pay for your education.
And I want you to listen up to this because we started a brand new program called Education to Employment. And working with Daytona State Foundation, the Daytona State College Foundation, and our own group here, we are looking for CNAs,
Yes.
medical assistants,
Yep.
phlebotomists,
Yes.
what else?
I think those are the
Lab techs,
Yeah.
pharmacy techs, radiology techs, Nick Rolando says. We need people in healthcare, and healthcare is a great career. But here's the best part. With education to employment, DSC Foundation will work very hard to make sure they pay for all your prerequisites. And then Halifax Health will get you a mentor in the system, plus pay for your specialty
Right.
certificate, I'll call it. And so you can choose to start a career in healthcare with nothing from you except for hard work and a great attitude, right?
Yep.
That's all you need. So that is on our website, as are all of our jobs posted at halifaxhealth.org. And talk to me a little bit about the interview process. What happens when somebody goes to halifaxhealth.org? What's the flow?
So we do have a typical flow, but we are very flexible as recruiters. And let's say someone doesn't even know where they want to start. I just know that I want to work in healthcare and I don't really know what that means. Give us a call and we will have you come in. We'll schedule a one-on-one time with you. We can talk about things that you might be interested in and then go from there. However, if you do go, let's say on our job board or to our website, and there is something that interests you, apply to that position. We receive that application, we review your resume, and then we would call you if you are a candidate that we'd like to move forward with and interview for that position.
And how long does that take from the time that I enter and then so then I have an interview?
Yep.
And then what happens?
After your interview, we have the reference process. Get your references completed. We would go ahead and get your background screening completed. And I would say from the time that you apply to the time that you're hired, we're looking at somewhere about 3 weeks.
Got it.
From start to finish.
And so if you know people who are out there who are looking for a career, perhaps they lost their job through these last few months, or perhaps they just want to change, healthcare is very rewarding. Let me ask you this. Why did you go into healthcare?
I went into healthcare, and this is kind of a twofold answer. I went into healthcare because I wanted to be a hospice nurse. I wanted to help people on their last days live the best life that they could. But it's very interesting. I never worked as a hospice nurse. So I think that kind of tells you the different opportunities for nursing. You know, you think you might have one mindset as to where you want to be, and I never even did that. I ended up on the other side, labor and delivery, and I did cardiac telemetry, and now I work in HR. So that shows you all of the different branches that you can go into as a nurse.
And I just want to touch on our hospice program.
Yes.
That is a gem in the Halifax Health Crown.
Yes.
We have an average census of probably about 550 people a day, and we take it very seriously to the point that we are the most highly recommended and the highest,
Yes.
I'm losing it, highest recommended, highest rated,
Rated.
sorry Ben Eby, hospice program in the area, and we're very proud of that. We also have home care.
Yes.
And home care is becoming more and more important in this whole continuum that we have.
Right. So when we talk about different positions within the organization, and then we have Deltona, we have Port Orange, we also have hospice, we also have care at home. We have all of these different opportunities outside of these four walls.
And something I'm very proud of is our Halifax Health Brooks Rehabilitation Center for Inpatient Rehabilitation. It's we like the long names here. But that unit has 2 floors. It's a more aggressive approach than a SNF, and it kind of puts us into a position where we can offer world-class rehabilitation right here in Daytona Beach. So there's another opportunity.
Right. The opportunities just don't seem to end at Halifax Health.
They don't. And while we're talking about that, radiology. Our radiology department, we partner with Radiology Associates.
Yep.
All of our images are still read locally.
Correct.
In the basement of this building.
Yes.
And we have our own training program, which we've had a lot of people come through. And it is really a close-knit group. Is there anything, and the technology.
Right.
I mean, we have, we spend about $20 million on technology a year. And I've heard people say that Halifax Health is the radiological center of the universe. And I kind of feel that way because those physicians and all those techs and managers do a phenomenal job.
Yeah, they did. Actually, one of my very first jobs was at Radiology Associates. So transferring over to Halifax Health was like a no-brainer. All the physicians were the same. So it's kind of cool to see them, you know, in that office setting. And then they're here, right here at Halifax Health in the cafe grabbing their lunch before they go read again. So it's kind of cool.
It's a fantastic place. It really is. So if you have any questions, please send them in. And you can send them in actually, when people are watching this later, how would they send them in to you?
If you have any questions, I would just ask that you email me at lacey.smith.
LACEY.SMITH at halifax.org or
it could be genevieve.pen@halifax.org, and that's GENEVIVE.PENN@halifax.org.
Little bit
I'm
harder.
glad she spelled that. Charlie, do we have a question?
Yes, we do have a question. Someone was inquiring about which service line specifically are offering the $10,000 sign-on bonus.
Okay.
And
That's
then
a
there's
Lacey
another
thing.
question that plays right into that. Do we offer any relocation bonuses?
Okay.
Oh,
so
good questions.
I will take that one. So I'm a little bit of a long-winded one, but here we go. So for the $10,000 sign-on bonuses for all of our adult health units, so that is cardiac telemetry, neuroscience intermediate care, orthopedics, oncology, post-surgical, adult health Port Orange, adult health Deltona, and then on top of the $10,000, if you are 60 miles or greater from our doorsteps moving to our area, we will also give you a $2,500 relocation stipend with no additional strings attached.
Wow.
Yeah. So all in all, you're looking at $12,500.
$12,500.
Yeah.
But you got to be the right person.
You have to be the right
You know,
person.
that's key. You have to be a Halifax Health person.
Yeah.
We say bleeding blue, as you can see the blue. So, you know, it's not just, yes, we're offering incentives because it's a tight market, but we want the right people.
Absolutely.
We want people who believe in safety, compassion, image, and efficiency. Those are our core elements of Cornerstone, and that's really important. So make sure that you're that kind of person. Our chief human resources officer asks the question often, you know, do you have what it takes? Are you the right fit for Halifax Health? And if you are, you found your home for a long time.
Yeah, it's
You know,
funny. We were talking about this earlier when we are walking interviews over to the units that they're going to go tour and meet with the unit manager. Oftentimes we're in the hallway and maybe we'll see like 6 or 7 people that want to stop and talk with us or say, hey, how you doing? Who's this? What are you interviewing for? You know, and the candidate walks away and says, man, that felt like family.
Right.
We hear that so many times. So, I mean, I'm proud of that. And I think when that person walks away and recognizes that, I think you might be on the right track to be joining Halifax Health.
I agree. And you know, you brought up family, and the emergency department is a huge family.
Yeah.
We have 100,000 square feet of emergency department. But what I want to touch base on is a residency program. And this is, I think, important. Can you share with us what the residency program does?
So we have a couple different residency programs. We currently have 3, and I'll touch on each. For our emergency department, we have a year-long residency program for brand new graduates. That is a huge opportunity. That is an additional class every week on top of your orientation. A lot of physician support, and a lot of physicians teach those courses. That's a great learning opportunity, and that's a great way for you to start forming those relationships with doctors you're going to be working with. At the end of that residency program, you should be prepared to sit for your national certification to become a nationally certified emergency room nurse.
Nice.
Yes, which is awesome. Then we have our intensive care, intensive surgical care, intensive medical care residency program. And then the most exciting of them all, in my opinion, is our brand new adult health residency program. So that is 6 months long, an additional class per week on top of your orientation. And every week they're going to go through a different body system. So let's say we're going to do trach care is our class. So what will happen in the morning is that you will have your classroom time on trach care. You will have your mannequin, but then at the end of the class, you, a buddy, and then a nurse educator will go out onto the floors, find patients who need trach care, and you will do it right then and there with an educator by your side for every single body system.
And let's talk, so those residency programs are key because they grow your skill set, but it also gets you more comfortable.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about preceptors.
Yeah.
When you come into this, I'm a nurse, not really, but I'm a nurse. I come in here, what's it going to be like when I get in? Is it going to be throw me to the wolves, or how does it work?
Absolutely not. So first you have your residency program, right? And you're going to be involved with a cohort. So there's great support right there. So people who are going through the exact same experience as you. We have a lot of support from our nurse educators. Every unit has their own specialty nurse educator. So neuroscience has their own, orthopedics, so on and so forth. But we would like for you to have 1 to 2 at max preceptors during your orientation process. So we want you to see different ways to do things, but beyond 2, things can get a little bit chaotic. You might be learning way too many different ways.
Sure.
So we like to keep it 2, nice and consistent and organized.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, I know I'm planning Nurses Week right now.
Yeah.
with nursing governance. What is it? What's the story on our nursing governance program?
So we had a shared governance program here at Halifax Health. And so that is the area where nurses get to come together and have a voice for the decisions that we make for, recently, I'll give an example. A nurse came up with the idea that we should have bedside commode liners. That way, if a patient uses a commode, we don't have to be washing it in between every
That's a
single
good
time.
idea.
So yes, although it's going to cost the hospital a little bit more money, it's so convenient for the nursing staff and for the patient ultimately. So it's those types of decisions where maybe if we just took that to someone in finance and said, hey, we need this, and they don't understand the why, they might just look at a dollar sign, right? But shared governance brought that to them, presented the why, and we got it.
That's
so
great.
it's a opportunity for the nursing staff to have a voice in the decisions that are made at the bedside.
And let's talk about this. This amazes me. So when the pandemic started a year ago, I guess it was probably March, that we created a special isolation unit where we had our inpatients who were COVID positive there. And there's a video out there of Linda Zaza.
Yes, Zaza.
And what I'm amazed of with nurses in general, and I thank you, even though I can't see you, for being a nurse, because it is a calling and a mission, I believe. But we had so many nurses volunteer to take care of all of those wonderful patients that we saw.
Yeah.
And that, I think, really showed that Halifax Health spirit. It wasn't, will you please? It was,
let me please.
Coming in the door saying,
Yeah.
I want to do this. And that's great. And another thing I think is important is our intensivist program. Hospitalist program and intensivist program. Dr. Hamiden heads up our hospitalist program. Can you speak a little bit about that?
About our hospitalists?
Yeah.
So we have our hospitalists on every single, and from a nursing perspective, this is another really beneficial thing as well. Because every single unit that you're on, you have your own hospitalist right there on the unit to go, hey, I've got this patient, this is what I have going on, can you please come and look at this patient? So having a physician right there, in-house, 24/7, for nurses' support and for the patient's outcome, that is key.
And intensivists. I think the key to our success rates, which can be discussed and debated, but are because of all the different comorbidities with COVID-19. But our success rates, Dr. Miles, our head of quality, shared with me were equal to the Mayo Clinic. And I believe a lot of that success goes to a tremendous intensivist staff.
Right.
So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so similar to the hospitalist, having that intensivist in the intensive care unit, having a physician right there at all times for the patient. There's no calling and they're at home and you're waking them up and they need to call, they need to drive here 20 minutes. No, they're right here in-house. And so for a patient's success, that is really key for the patient, to have a physician right then and there.
It is. Telehealth is very popular, but there's no better than having somebody be able right there. All right, we're going to kind of wrap up if that's okay with you guys. But I have a charge for you. And that is, if you think that you are Halifax Health material, these recruiters want to talk to you.
Yes, we do.
They definitely do. And if you know someone who wants to start a career in healthcare, these recruiters want to talk to them as well.
Even if you don't know where to start,
Yes.
start with us. This is a good place just to have a conversation, come in, we can talk about different opportunities for you, things that you might be interested in, where your place to start.
And this virtual affair was mostly about nursing and CNAs.
Yeah.
The 30th, Genevieve is going to be on the hot seat over here, and we're going to talk about all the different allied health positions that we have available. So if there aren't any other questions, I want to thank you both for being here. This has been a lot of fun for me. We do have a great team, and we want you to investigate it and see if it's a good fit for you. So don't hesitate to reach out to Lacey. Don't hesitate to reach out to Genevieve. And we'll see you maybe on March 30th for another virtual job fair. But please tell everybody you know that Halifax Health is a great place to live your life well.